This is the Louie Tee Network.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie Tee? Welcome to Lockdown Coverage. Breaking down the entire National Football League is your man Louie Tee here, covering the National Football League like a blanket. Tennessee Titans at home hosting the Oakland Raiders. And this is one of those games where, look, man, if you're serious about having a season and you're one of these two teams, you got to win this football game. Simple as that. No questions asked. You want to have a season? Go get this one. This is a big one because these are two teams that you look at and you don't want to say they're in the same place because the Raiders are a team a lot of people expect to compete this year, whereas the Titans, you're like, just be competitive. Not expecting you to compete, just looking for you to be competitive. And so for the Raiders, this was a must win. If you're the Titans and you want to have market improvement, you want to be markedly better than you were a season ago, you want to win 6, 7, 8 games this year, you got to beat the Raiders at home. If you're the Raiders and you want to make the postseason, you want to threaten to make the postseason, you want to have a above 500 record, you got to beat the Titans on the road. It's simple as that. So this was a game pitting two teams against each other, polar opposites, but yet, to me, it was one and the same. You had to win this game if you were looking to have a season. The team that won this game was going to have a lot of momentum leaving this football game. The team that loses this game is going to be kicking themselves, and they're going to feel down about losing this opportunity to get a win on this season. But before we jump into the breakdown of this game, it was actually a good football game and a wild and wacky finish. First and foremost, welcome to the program. If this is your first time here, welcome to the Louie Tee Network and subscribe to the Louie Tee Network for more great content in 2016 and beyond. Hey, look, man, your man Louie Tee is breaking this thing down like no other, covering the entire league. And look, if you want NFL coverage, wall-to-wall coverage, you don't need to go anywhere else. Your man Louie Tee's got you covered, all 32 teams in that National Football League. I'm also on Twitter, @InTheLabRoom is the Twitter handle. Go ahead and give me a follow there. And if you happen to be watching this video via the live stream on YouTube or you're on Twitter, go ahead and use the hashtag LouieTeeLive while you're there to comment and let your voice be heard so that I can read your comment at the end of this breakdown. Also on Facebook, In the Lab Room is the Facebook page. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up and a like there as well. So let's jump into this game. Titans, Raiders. Big matchup in the AFC. Two teams looking to take a step forward. This was going to go a long way toward these teams doing that. Getting a win here was going to be huge. So likes, dislikes, banana in the tailpipe for these two teams. Start with the likes of the visiting team, and we do that all the time here. So that means we'll start with the Raiders and their first half likes. Response after the Titans' early score. Titans go down the field. You would love to have seen them punch it in, but they got a field goal to start this game. Raiders get great field position after the kick goes out of bounds, giving them the football at the 40-yard line. They take that football, run with it, get into the end zone. Beautiful response to the Titans' early score by the Raiders. Good run by the L train. Latavius Murray, who's been seeing his touches decrease by the week. Good to see him continuing to battle and try to get more playing time with a nice 22-yard touchdown run. Forced fumble by this Raiders defense. This Raiders defense made some plays in this game, and that forced fumble early in the game of Marcus Mariota, he's scrambling, trying to make something happen, get the football out. For a defense that's been struggling, the best, and I call this the great equalizer, okay? The greatest equalizer for a bad defense, turnovers. Look, I don't give a damn how many yards you give up. Points, as long as you're not giving up points, and if you can create turnovers, you will level and even the playing field, and that's what they did in this game against a Titans team that is allergic to scoring points. It's good to see the Raiders get on track, because if the Titans had put up 24, 27, or 30 plus in this game, then you would have had cause for concern in Oakland about this defense, but they went out and did what they were supposed to do to a bad offense, an offense that doesn't like to score points, shut them down. Didn't hurt that Delaney Walker was banged up as well. David Amerson is on my likes list. My goodness, he continues to play outstanding coverage out there at the cornerback position for the Oakland Raiders, and they need it because they've been struggling with Sean Smith on the opposite side. We'll talk about him here in a second, but he's continuing to blossom as David Amerson. He's becoming the guy that everyone thought he would be coming out of NC State, a long physical corner that can make some plays on the football, and he's always around the ball. Even when he doesn't make a play on the ball, he's right there. May not make the tackle, but he's right there. David Amerson playing outstanding. He had at least 4 pass breakups in this game. At least. I could have omitted one. Man had himself an afternoon in this ball game. DeAndre Washington is on my like list in the first half. There was a drive at the end of the first half where DeAndre Washington dominated. Okay, the final drive of the first half for the Raiders offensively was the DeAndre Washington show. 2 big runs, a catch over the middle, and a great blitz pickup that you probably didn't notice on the touchdown pass that Derek Carr threw on the outside there to get them to 17-3. So that, to me, those are huge. Okay, those are the plays that go unnoticed if you're not paying attention. But that was the DeAndre Washington drive. 2 big runs, a catch over the middle, and a huge blitz pickup on the Seth Roberts touchdown grab. Huge drive by DeAndre Washington. I love what he's doing, and I want to continue to see him get touches as well. The touchdown before the half is a like. I always like when teams score before halftime. Gives you momentum going into the halftime break. Doesn't matter who gets ball after half. If you get a score, field goal, touchdown, doesn't matter before the halftime break. It just gives you a little bit of momentum going into the locker room at halftime. Raiders didn't know at the time. They didn't know this, but that would be their final points of the game, and it would be the game-winning touchdown. Huge drive right before halftime. And let's give a little bit of big ups and props to Sebastian Janikowski for setting the NFL record for most 50-yard field goals made in NFL history, banging home a 52-yarder. Seabass has had one of the strongest legs we've ever seen from a kicker in NFL history, and I think that record that he set yesterday versus the Titans is more proof that this guy has had a huge leg throughout his career, and the longevity that he's had kind of solidifies that first-round pick and justifies the first-round pick that the Raiders spent on Seabass in 2000 once upon a time. Let's get to the likes for the Titans in the first half. And it was just one. I thought the Titans were sloppy. They made mistakes. They didn't play good defense in the first half. The opening drive of the game was the only like for the Titans in the first half of this game. They got a field goal. Would have loved to have seen them get in the end zone, but they got a field goal out of the first drive. But that was it. They turned it over. They had penalties. They made mistakes defensively. They gave it up, let the Raiders score. Raiders had been notorious for starting slow in the first half of games this season. They let the Raiders get out and score 17 in the first half. Now, the Raiders have been scoring points in bunches in the second half. Well, they shut them down in the second half, but they let the Raiders jump out to a 17-3 lead in the first half of this game. So there weren't a lot of likes for me from the Tennessee Titans in the first half of this game. Let's get to the dislikes for the first half of this game for both teams. We start with the Raiders. The offensive line penalties, they were huge in the first half. 2 Donald Penn penalties, including the latter penalty, negating a touchdown to Clive Walford that would have probably put this game out of reach. That was a big penalty, negating that touchdown. I don't even know if the Raiders ended up getting on the scoreboard or not. That might have been the Seabass 52-yarder, but you took a touchdown off the scoreboard. And again, I talked about this going into the game. Scoring points was huge for the Raiders. You wanted to make this a track meet. You wanted to make this a shootout because the Titans can't keep up. They're incapable of scoring a bunch of points. So if you put up another touchdown there and you go up 21-3, this game is over. Titans aren't scoring 20-0. They haven't scored over 16 the entire season. They're not scoring in the 20s. So if you go and you get 21 in the first half, this game is effectively over. That penalty by Donald Penn to getting that touchdown was huge. Also had a Rodney Hudson penalty for holding. He got manhandled on the play, dump truck by Woods, and that set up a situation where he had to hold. And so the penalties for the offensive line in the first half I thought were impactful because they killed Oakland Raider drives. You get a holding penalty, that's a big, nasty 10-yard penalty. You might have been 2nd and 7. Now you're 2nd and 17. It's tough. It's tough in this league to pick up 17 yards in 2 plays. Especially when, even though the Titans gave it up, there's still an aggressive defense that's going to make you work for what you get. So those kind of penalties, they hurt you and stunt your growth as a football team offensively. That was my dislike for the first half for the Raiders. Go to the Titans in their first half dislikes. Kickoff out of bounds. You can't score a field goal on your first possession. Feel good about what you just did. You're trying to kind of establish a little bit of momentum, set the tempo for the game, and you kick it out of bounds. Give the Raiders, they don't need help. The Raiders can be explosive on offense. They don't need your help, okay? They don't need any assistance from you. And you give it to them at the 40, what do you think they're going to do with that? They took it and went right down the field and got in the end zone. Can't make those kind of mistakes. Marcus Mariota fumble. Can't happen. Can't turn. You're not good enough. I hate to sound like a broken. You're not good enough to make these types of mistakes. In your own territory, you can't fumble the football. Can't turn it over. If you're Marcus Mariota, ball security is objective number 1. Yeah, I know you want to get the first down. Yeah, I know you're trying to dive and sell out and get the first down. You have to protect the rock. Or as they say up in New York, protect the Duke. Got to protect the football. Cannot lay it on the carpet there. Raiders making a play there. End of the half defense and the turnover at the end of the first half. Now, let's break these down individually. The end of the first half defense was atrocious. That was the DeAndre Washington drive where he had 2 big runs, a catch over the middle, and then they let Seth Roberts catch it on the side. It's an easy pitch and catch. Okay, go make the tackle. Bryce McCain comes up with a half-hearted, lackluster attempt at a tackle, allows Seth Roberts to not only catch it easily, but get to the outside and run right past everybody for an easy walk-in touchdown. Unreal. And so I thought that was poor defense. If you could have held the Raiders to 3 points there, it's 13-3. That's doable. For a team that doesn't score a bunch of points, that's 17-3, and you haven't scored more than 16 all season, now you put yourself in a bind. I thought it was poor execution defensively late in the first half. And then the turnover. I don't know what they were thinking. They hadn't done anything all first half. You don't have that much time. Just go to halftime. They tried to throw it. Mariota gets picked off. And if Reggie Nelson had any sense, he would have just got a nice little return like he did and then got the hell out of bounds, and they would have got a Seabass field goal attempt right before halftime. They got away with one. That turnover could have cost them 3 points. You're not good enough to do that. You can't do that. And so the Titans, I just thought the end of the first half for them was tragic, and it could have been even worse had Reggie Nelson had the presence of mind to get out of bounds and give the Raiders an opportunity to get a field goal attempt. And the clock operator screwed everybody and messed everything up. And so that was just a crazy end to the first half. Let's get to the second half likes. We go back to the Raiders. Mobility and escapability for the 4-car. I remember when Derek Carr was coming into the league out of Fresno, the knock on him was under pressure, under duress, he folds up like a lawn chair. Everyone pointed to that USC bowl game, his final game in his collegiate career, and said, this guy can't handle pressure. He doesn't perform well. And that first season, you saw a little bit of that. He has grown so much as a quarterback. Mentally, he understands what he has to do. His escapability and athleticism are underrated. First of all, I don't think he gets enough credit for his ability to move. Do you remember, I want to say it was last week against the Raiders, or against the Falcons. He scrambles, and I believe it was week 2. Week 1, you guys played New Orleans. It might have been week 1. I'm not sure. I think it was week 2. Where he scrambles out of the pocket and leaps over a defender and rolls into a ball, and it's gorgeous. Now, you don't want your quarterback doing that often, but man, was it pretty. And that just speaks to the athleticism that Derek Carr has, man. The 4-car can move. And there's a play in the third quarter where he ducks and he dodges and he jumps in and jumps back and eludes 3 Titan rushers and then throws a jump ball up to Krabs down the field, who climbs the ladder and goes against the football. Gorgeous extension of the play, beautiful elusiveness, and way to make a play down the field. Keep your eyes up and make a play down the field. Derek Carr, man, he's evolving right before our very eyes. He's evolving. That's the next step as a quarterback, okay? Step 1, poise in the pocket, being able to read and dissect defenses. Step 2, hit the deep ball with regularity. Step 3, create off schedule. Make plays with your leg, extend plays. Derek Carr, man, I'm telling you, the boy is bad. The 4 Carr, the boy is bad. Sean Smith, interception. Boy, did he need that. This was a confidence-building game, not just for this Raiders defense, but for some individuals in there. And he was one of them. He needed some confidence. He needed to see a struggling Tennessee Titans offense because they were going to give him an opportunity to build his confidence up. When Sean Smith is playing with confidence, he can make plays. You saw it in his football game. If he has confidence, he's going to produce for you. When he's lacking in confidence, he's going to get beat. And in this game, he was able to gain some confidence, made a play, got an interception. Nobody needed that more than Sean Smith. DJ Hayden, another guy that needs some confidence. Got it in this game. Let's see if he can run with this and have it build and swell into something that's tangible for him moving forward. But he made some plays. I thought he tackled. He was physical underneath. Came up, lit DeMarco Murray up on one play. They threw it underneath to one of their receivers. He lit him up. I thought he pursued on a run play one time, got in the backfield. He played well in this game. They need more of this from this Raiders defense. They need to see guys swarming, flying around. I saw Corey James get in the backfield, make a tackle one time. They need to see guys running around, making some plays. And speaking of which, perfect segue, this Raiders D is also on my second half likes list. How could you not like what the Raiders did defensively? Held the Titans to 10 points, which isn't that hard to do, but they went out and did it for a defense that was giving up over 500 yards a game. They held them to under 300 total yards in this game, forced 3 turnovers, held them to 10 points, got the big stop at the end of the game when the game was on the line, when the Titans looked like they were going to score some points. This Raiders defense came up huge and preserved this victory. A big game by this Raiders defense. Can they keep this up, or was this a one-game mirage because of the opponent? We shall see. Ravens next week, they're struggling to score. Can you do it again? We'll find out. Titans second half likes. DeMarco Murray. I would have loved to have seen him get 25 carries in this game. I would have liked to have seen Derrick Henry get 12 carries. Run the football. They could not stop it. Why? I would have run the football every single play until the Raiders proved they could stop it. And the minute they came up and got nosy 8, 9 in the box, play action fake. I would have put 3 tight ends on the field. I don't know if you had 3 healthy tight ends, but I would have put 3 tight end sets, 1 receiver, and I'm running play action fake. I would have gutted these boys because they were getting gashed on the ground. And you knew the Raiders had trouble stopping the run. DeMarco Murray up over 100 yards. Derrick Henry with a nice afternoon. Keep running the football. Why stop? You should have had over 40 rushing attempts in this game. No excuse not to, because the Raiders couldn't stop the run. I didn't understand why you didn't run the football more in this football game. That was the key to your success, slowing the game down and crushing them on the ground. And you were well on your way to doing it. And I just thought you inexplicably stopped running the football for what I don't know. But Murray had himself an afternoon. Less than 20 carries, over 100 yards. He was dominant. Williamson with the interception on a carom. Could have argued that it was pass interference. I thought it was a solid play by the defender. Ball caroms into the air. Williamson, Johnny on the spot, picks it off. Right after the Titans had just turned it over. So that was a good play for the Titans to get them back the football. Dislikes in the second half. We go back to the Raiders. 3rd and 3 on the opening drive of the second half. You're moving the football, having a little bit of success, and you get to 3rd and 3, and we saw a little bit of this last week on the 4th and 2. You got Derek Carr, man. The guy is lighting it up. Entrust in your quarterback to convert on 3rd and 3. It's a passing league. 3rd and 3 is no longer a running down in this league. Okay? Hell, a lot of times 3rd or 4th and 1 isn't a running down anymore for most teams. 3rd and 3, and you're going to give the football to Jameis Olawale? For what? Didn't you see last week that didn't work? Throw the football. The 4 can pick it up. You had to punt. It's plays like that, decisions like that, play calling like that frustrates me when you have a quarterback that you can put the game on his shoulders and allow him to win it for you. Put the Titans out of their misery. That drive had some tempo and rhythm and pace to it. You were well on your way to points. If you pick up this first down, you're getting something out of this drive, and you decide to run Jameis Olawale on 3rd and 3. Thought that was too conservative of an approach when you got a quarterback like Derek Carr that's throwing BBs right now. Let him throw the football on 3rd and 3. Wasting second half timeouts. You know how I feel about second half timeouts. You cannot waste them. 2 of them gone at the 6:29 mark of the 3rd quarter. Inexcusable. And you knew this was going to be a close ball game. You're lucky that didn't come back to haunt you at the end. That can't happen. You got to clean that up. The drops. Look, the Raiders got to be better. Derek Carr is out there playing his ass off, and guys are dropping the football. 2 drops by Seth Roberts, 1 in the first half, 1 in the second half. A drop by Clive Walford on the 3rd down where Derek Carr escapes again, that escapability that I talked about. Escapes, avoids a sack, gets outside the pocket, throws a laser that's low so that nobody else can get it to Clive Walford, and he drops the football. And then Amari Cooper on a critical 3rd down late in the ball game. You need this first down to keep the football away from the Titans, and he drops the football. And you know you're going to get those out of Amari every now and again. So you really can't be too upset, but it's still upsetting when it happens. And those drops, you're killing the flow of this offense. These are 3rd downs that are going to be converted to first downs if you just catch the football, and they're letting Derek Carr down. The interception, I already talked about it. Really good play by the Titans defensively to deflect the football, get it up in the air, rally to the ball, and pick it off. Derek Carr forced it there. I don't even necessarily want to call it a force. Like I said, could argue that it was pass interference. Looked like the defender was there a little early, but in any event, the interception was thrown by Carr. Definitely don't like turnovers. And then Marquette King's punt late. Look, Jack Del Rio has been rolling the dice early in the season. I thought he made the right decision by punting on 4th and 2 from right around the midfield line. No reason to go for it. The Titans are struggling to score, okay? They scored 10 whole points in this game. Your defense has been good all game long. Don't give the Titans a short field and a chance to tie this game up or potentially win it by going for 2. Punt the football, make them go the length of the field to get a touchdown. If they want to win, they got to earn it. Go 80 yards. Or in this case, because you're punting from right around midfield, he's not supposed to kick that football in the end zone. Need you to pin them at the 10, the 5. Hell, even the 15 is better than the 20. Don't kick the ball in the end zone there. Marquette King, I thought, took a step back in this game. You cannot kick the football in the end zone there. You can't. That's why they punt. Not so you, if that's the case, well, they might as well win for it. Punt the football and down it somewhere inside the 10-yard line. Make them fair catch it. You kick the ball high. Make them fair catch it at the 15, 10-yard line. Don't kick it in the end zone there. Titans dislikes for the second half. The Mariota interception. Again, can't make that kind of mistake. Too many mistakes by Mariota in this game. 3 turnovers. You got if you want to win games in this league, you got to minimize the mistakes. Too many mistakes by Marcus Mariota in this game. When they lost to the Vikings in week 1, too many Mariota mistakes. Both of his mistakes went for touchdowns. Too many mistakes. They lose this game. Too many mistakes by Marcus Mariota in his football game. You're going to win games. You have to minimize the mistakes. Too many mistakes by your franchise quarterback in this game. Final drive penalties. Come on, fellas. Come on. You get a situation where you're in prime scoring position. Now, Taylor Lewan and Ben Jones coming in and trying to push their teammate for it, I almost don't have a problem with that. If they don't fall to the ground, it's not as apparent because they were looking to come and bum rush the pile and push him into the end zone. And they would have achieved that goal if they would have still been on their feet. But it just so happened that everybody fell down right as they were coming. And so it looked bad. It looked like they were trying to peel somebody off the pile. And so they got a personal foul penalty. Taylor Lewan actually got it. But both him and Ben Jones were guilty. Didn't really have a problem with that. Those guys are trying to get their teammate into the end zone, get a touchdown. And they were hustling. You'll find it very tough to get me to say something bad about a guy trying to help his teammate get in the end zone. But that being said, you pick up a personal foul penalty. The one that I got a problem with is Andre Johnson blatantly pushing off. Yes, that was an offensive pass interference penalty. Okay, that was OPI all day long. And you're a veteran. Had you just leaned the shoulder into him, that would have been more than enough. You didn't have to just all out jab him. You damn near pushed him. You pushed him down. You slammed him. What are you doing? You know better than that. All you had to do was lean into that defender with your shoulder. Be savvy. You a veteran. You've been doing this for a long time. You don't need to extend the arm. Put the shoulder into him. Lean on him. Get out there and go get the football. That was a dumb penalty by Andre Johnson. It hurt them. They lost the football game. You can't have those. That's why this Titans team, and I said this before the season, I think I said 3-13, 4-12, and Titans fans were jumping all over me. That's why you're going to end up 3-13, 4-12 when the season's over. Because of dumb plays like that, because of opportunities missed. You want to win more than 4 games this season? Beat the Raiders at home. You had an opportunity, you squandered it. I don't really know what else to say. That's a bitter pill to swallow to lose that game like that. You got the football down at the 2, and you get 2 big penalties that kill you and end this ball game essentially for you. Banana in the tailpipe. For me, it's the Raiders' defense in this game. They look damn good in this game. Forced 3 turnovers, held the Titans to under 300 yards total in the game, held the Titans to 10 points. All of that sounds great, but it was the Titans. And they don't score any points, and they struggle offensively. And you still got gashed on the ground. But you forced turnovers. That was great. Can you do this again? You got the Ravens next week. They don't score a bunch of points. They struggle offensively. Can you do this again on the road? Tougher opponent next week. Can you do it again? I'm anxious to see that. That's my banana tailpipe. I'm not buying this defense as a better, much improved unit. 1 game. I need to see it again. For the Titans, mistakes will kill you. And you made a boatload of mistakes in this game. The 3 turnovers, the penalties at the end, giving it up right before the half. Too many mistakes for a team that can't afford mistakes. Titans dropped to 1-2 on the season. Raiders get it done on the road. It was not pretty, but it was gritty. And most importantly, it was a W. They go to 2-1 on the season and now travel to Baltimore. And really, and this is where the Raiders have struggled the last 2 years. They got an opportunity to go 2 games over 500. Last year, they had 2 opportunities to do so. They failed both times. At Chicago, at Pittsburgh last year, they had a chance to go 2 games up over 500 after their win in week 1. They blew it last week at Atlanta, or at home versus Atlanta. You get another opportunity, week 4, at Baltimore. Can you find a way to go 2 games over 500? Or will you do it again, lose, and drop back to 500 on the season? We'll see. But that's going to do it for this breakdown. Let's see if we got any comments before we get out of here. Abraham Lopez says, has Mariota met your expectations? No. When you're the 2nd pick in the draft, I expect more out of you. You look at what Jameis Winston is doing with the Buccaneers. He's number 1. You expect number 2 to be right on par with number 1. And I don't think he's taking control of this offense. Granted, I don't know if the offense is exactly the same, even though your head coach was there last year under Ken Wisenhunt before he got fired. I'd like to think the same concepts and everything are still intact and in place. Same verbiage, all of that good stuff. Nothing's really changed with the offense. So this is year 2 of the offense for him. You would like to think that he should be much improved, but he's making a lot of the same mistakes he made in his rookie season. You know, fumbling the football, making some poor decisions with the football, turning it over. I need him to improve. You can't have the 2 turnovers you had against Minnesota and they go for touchdowns. You can't have the 3 turnovers in this game and it costs you. Can't have it. Got to be better. And no, he hasn't met my expectations yet. Not at all. Rashad Hunt says, in next year's draft, where do the Titans go first? Secondary, it's got to be receiver. He needs more weapons. No Delaney Walker. It showed in this game. All right. Jason Morrow was your leading receiver in his first game as a Titan. That should tell you all you need to know. He has nothing out there. And that's why the DGB trade made 0 sense. Because you have nothing out there at receiver. So for you to trade away a guy as if you got it like that makes 0 sense. When he keeps going to Andre Johnson in the most critical, crucial moments of the game, it tells you all you need to know. When he's probably your best receiver at the age of like 35, they need to go receiver. First thing first. Get Marcus Mariota. He's your franchise quarterback. Give him the weapons to get the job done. Right now, he does not have them at his disposal. So, that is it. I thank you guys for joining me on this breakdown of Raiders and Titans. The Oakland Raiders get it done. Go to 2-1 on the season. Titans drop to 1-2 on the season. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on Lockdown Coverage in the lab room. I thank you for joining me on this program. I got plenty more games in week number 3 of the National Football League to break down, so come back and join me. Remember, we're changing the game one live feed at a time. I'll see you guys a little bit later on. Got many more games to break down in week number 3. See you a little bit later on.